I woke up to a miracle today. Triggers fade as I find my way. No judgment to lead astray. In this peaceful state I'll stay.
Welcome back. Today we're really getting into a powerful idea, one that asks for a pretty radical shift in how we see everything.
Yeah, it's lesson 263. My holy vision sees all things as pure. Simple words, but wow, the implications.
Exactly. We want to explore how choosing this perspective, this holy vision, can actually change what you perceive day to day.
And it's interesting where this lesson sits, isn't it? Right in the section called What is the Body?
That's crucial context.
It is, because the Course frames the body as the symbol of separation. So the lessons just before this one, 261 and 262, they really hammer home how the body misleads us.
Right. It promises safety and form, makes differences seem real, points out threats.
Exactly. So today's lesson is the counter move. We're choosing Christ's vision, holy vision, over the body's version of reality.
Okay, so our mission today is to unpack this declaration. My holy vision sees all things as pure, and see how it actually works. How does it apply when things get tough, in your actual life?
Let's make it practical.
First, let's read the lesson itself. You want to start us off?
Sure. Lesson 263. My holy vision sees all things as pure. Father, your mind created all that is. Your spirit entered into it. Your love gave life to it. And what I look upon what you created as if it could be made sinful. I would not perceive such dark and fearful images. A madman's dream is hardly fit to be my choice, instead of all the loveliness with which you blessed creation, all its purity, its joy, and its eternal quiet home in you.
And while we still remain outside the gate of heaven, let us look on all we see through holy vision and the eyes of Christ. Let all appearances seem pure to us, that we may pass them by in innocence and walk together to our Father's house as brothers and the holy sons of God. That opening, and would I look upon what you created as if it could be made sinful? It lands differently than just an instruction.
It really does. It feels like a personal commitment, a declaration to the Father, rather than just about Him.
It's like drawing a line in the sand. I choose not to see sin.
And it forces us to grapple with that core distinction the Course makes. There's all that is, God's creation, eternal, spiritual, untouched reality.
And then there's the world we see with our physical senses, the world of separation, pain, bodies.
Right, that's the world of perception. The genius here is that the lesson isn't asking us to pretend the physical world doesn't look the way it does.
It's asking us to look through the appearances.
Exactly. To look through the temporary forms, the behaviors, the situations, to the spiritual reality that remains pure no matter what.
We spend so much time reacting to the surface, don't we? Labeling, judging, seeing threats.
Constantly. And the Course calls that whole way of seeing a madman's dream. That's such a stark phrase.
It is. It implies we've convinced ourselves that this dream of separation, attack, conflict, death, that this is real.
And holy vision is presented as the way past that dream. Not a tool to fix the dream, but a way to see beyond it altogether.
Think about the mental energy drain of living in that madman's dream. Just the constant low-level anxiety, the defensiveness.
Oh, absolutely. It uses up so much bandwidth.
So holy vision is like shutting down those unnecessary background processes. It frees up mental resources.
That's a great way to put it. It's incredibly practical. It makes you more effective because you're not wasting energy defending against shadows.
And the lesson says it applies to all we see, not just the nice thing.
No, that's key. It applies to the difficult colleague, the political mess, your own perceived mistakes, everything. The goal is always the same. Recognize the shared innocence underneath the appearance.
Okay, let's ground this. Talk about that difficult supervisor example.
All right, so you have a supervisor you perceive as, let's say, harsh, constantly critical, maybe intimidating.
We've all been there, probably.
Probably. So the usual reaction is defensiveness, resentment, maybe fear. Holy vision asks you to look past the appearance of harshness.
How, though? What does that look like practically?
You consciously choose to see the shared purpose or the underlying innocence. Maybe you reinterpret the harshness. Instead of seeing it as a personal attack, you might see it as, well, just being efficiently matter of fact.
Okay.
Maybe their focus is purely on getting the job done, and the way they communicate just lands as harsh because of your own filters or their lack of social grace, perhaps. But their core intent might simply be efficiency.
I can see that, but I also hear the potential objection. Isn't that just spiritual bypassing? Like, okay, my boss is being objectively difficult, maybe even creating a toxic environment, and I'm just supposed to tell myself they're efficiently matter of fact. Am I just denying reality?
That's a really important question. And no, it's not denial. Denial would be saying, oh, they're not harsh at all, everything's wonderful.
Right. Which clearly isn't true in this scenario.
Holy vision is different. It acknowledges the appearance. Yes, the behavior looks harsh. The words sound critical. But it simultaneously remembers that the person's true self, their essence as a child of God, is still pure and untouched by that behavior.
So you're separating the behavior, the ego's costume, from the person's true identity.
Precisely. You see the reality beneath the appearance. And crucially, you don't need the outward behavior to change for your peace to change. Your shift in perception is internal.
Okay, that makes more sense. Because when I perceive threat, even if it's just harsh words, I go into defense mode. My productivity tanks. I'm distracted. I'm maybe even plotting my counter-argument.
Exactly. And often that perception of threat is fueled by projection, right? We project our own fears, maybe fear of inadequacy, fear of judgment onto the other person's actions.
So I make myself the problem by reacting defensively to a perceived attack that might not even be intended that way.
Or even if it is intended that way by their ego, your holy vision refuses to engage at that level. You receive the information, maybe the feedback about work, without the added layer of personal attack.
And that frees up energy. Makes you more effective, calmer. You're not fighting a phantom enemy anymore.
That's the practical benefit. Peace and effectiveness go hand in hand here.
Okay, let's look at the second paragraph again. That line, and while we still remain outside the gate of heaven, it can sound a bit, I don't know, discouraging at first.
Yeah, I get that. Like, oh, great, I'm trying my best here, but I'm still stuck outside.
Right. Still not good enough.
But I actually read it as incredibly helpful, almost comforting. It takes the pressure off. It says, look, you're learning. You're in the classroom, practicing. You don't have to be perfect right now. It grounds us in the present practice rather than making us anxious about reaching some future goal.
So it counters that spiritual ego trip of, am I enlightened yet?
Totally. It says, relax. You're exactly where you need to be learning. Focus on the practice of seeing purely right now, and the destination, heaven, takes care of itself. Don't worry about the gate.
I like that interpretation. It makes it less about striving and more about doing the work today.
And notice the careful wording later in that paragraph. Let all appearances seem pure to us.
Yes. Not be pure, but seem pure.
That distinction is vital. If it said be pure, that would feel like denial. How can you look at some tragedy or cruelty and say, it is pure? That feels impossible, even wrong.
Yeah, that would trigger immediate resistance. The ego would jump right in with counterexamples.
But seem pure is about perception, about interpretation. We let it seem pure to our holy vision.
It's shifting the filter through which we view the appearance.
Exactly. It avoids that trap of spiritual bypassing while still holding firm to the principle of universal innocence.
And it also sidesteps how the ego uses the whole concept of purity, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The ego loves purity, but only as a tool for separation. Think about it. Worldly purity is always about setting things apart. This brand is purer or higher status than that one. This group is purer than that group based on race or belief or behavior. This action is pure. That one is sinful. It's always used to create hierarchies and exclude.
Right. It defines itself by what it's not. I am pure because you are impure.
Precisely. The ego's purity is conditional, exclusive, and judgmental. The Course's use of pure is the radical opposite.
It's unconditional universal innocence.
Applied to everything and everyone, without exception. It's the inherent state of God's creation, not something earned or lost based on appearances or actions in the dream.
So when we let appearances seem pure, we're choosing to align with that universal inherent purity rather than the ego's divisive version. Okay, so we can practice this with colleagues, with news headlines, but what about the really deep-seated stuff? The visceral fears, phobias?
Yes, the ultimate test case. Let's take my personal favorite nemesis, spiders.
Okay, spiders.
Yeah.
The ego has a field day with spiders for many people. Creepy, dangerous, alien.
Exactly. Instant revulsion, fear. The narrative is automatic and intense. It completely overrides any rational thought. The spider appears as pure threat.
So how does holy vision apply there? It seems like a huge leap from seeing your supervisor as efficiently matter-of-fact to seeing a spider as pure.
It is a leap, but the principle is the same. Holy vision looks past the 8 legs, the scuttling, the fangs, the whole fear package the ego presents.
And sees what?
It sees a creature that is innocent. It's just being a spider perfectly, doing its spider thing within the dream.
You're not required to like it or touch it.
Yeah, at all. It's not about changing your preference. It's about withdrawing your projection of fear and sin onto it. You stop making the spider the cause of your internal state of fear. You recognize the fear originates in your mind, in the madman's dream.
So you see the spider, feel the fear arise maybe, but you meet it with the thought, my fear is my interpretation, not its reality.
Something like that. It's about reclaiming responsibility for your perception. It takes practice, for sure, especially with something so primal. You don't need to overcome the fear to be worthy. You just need to see it wasn't true.
So wrapping this up, the real power of this lesson is its practicality. It lets us look past the often difficult appearances of daily life.
Whether it's a challenging person or a deep fear.
And connect with the underlying reality, the innocence that was never really disturbed by the dream.
And remembering that we're all still outside the gate, just practicing in the classroom, gives us the grace to keep trying without judging ourselves for not being perfect yet.
We're right where we need to be doing this work.
So maybe a final thought for you listening. Where are you still holding on to an ego-based definition of purity? You know, one that creates separation, that says, this is pure, but that isn't.
What happens when you let go of that standard?
Who or what that you previously excluded or judged suddenly starts to seem innocent, maybe even holy, when you look again through these eyes.
Something to consider as you practice. Until next time, keep practicing seeing with holy vision.